This is the Christmas we think we know, a season bathed in light, steeped in faith, woven with traditions that feel as ancient as the stars. For billions across the globe, it is the pure, sacred celebration of a divine birth, a story passed down through centuries, unchanged. But what if this story, the one you were told, is not what it seems? What if beneath the carols and tinsel lies something far older and far more surprising? What if every carol sung, every tree adorned, every gift exchanged, points not to a lone stable in Bethlehem, but to a past that was meticulously, brilliantly, and perhaps even ruthlessly rewritten? This is the hidden history of Christmas, not merely a biblical tale, but the astonishing story of the greatest theological rebranding in human history. A story of adoption, transformation, and ultimate triumph. This is the truth they never taught you, and once you see it, you will never see Christmas the same way again. Our investigation begins with a simple question. Why December 25th? What makes this day sacred? The Gospel of Luke offers our only significant clue. Shepherds were living out in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night. A peaceful, pastoral image, right? It is a peaceful image, but it's also, critically, a piece of evidence that when examined closely begins to unravel the very fabric of the traditional story. Here's the reality. Judea's climate is far from idyllic year-round. The rainy, often freezing cold winter begins in October, sometimes even earlier. And here's the kicker. Shepherds always bring their vulnerable flocks into sheltered enclosures, into safety, long before December. Let's be absolutely clear. No responsible, caring shepherd would be sleeping out in an open field, exposed to the elements in a Judean December. It was a logistical nightmare. It was, quite literally, a death sentence for lambs and misery for men. The Gospels don't mention a single detail of bitter cold because it simply wasn't that time of year. Historians and theologians, regardless of their faith, largely agree. The Nativity almost certainly occurred in the milder months, spring or autumn. So, if not December, then why in the world December 25th? The Bible itself is utterly silent on the exact date of Christ's birth. And here's another shocking fact. The earliest Christians, living in the immediate centuries after Christ, didn't celebrate the birth at all. Their focus was resurrection. So, who then chose this date? And why this specific, deeply problematic day? To find the astonishing answer, we must leave the quiet fields of Bethlehem behind and travel to the roaring, magnificent, and often brutal epicenter of power, decadence, and desperate crisis, Imperial Rome. By the 3rd century CE, Rome, the Eternal City, was teetering on the brink. Plague ravaged its cities. Economic collapse crippled its people. Constant invasions hammered its borders. It was an empire consumed by desperation and fear. Emperor Aurelian, a brilliant but ruthless military leader, believed the solution wasn't just military, it was spiritual. The fragmented empire needed one powerful, unifying God to rally its citizens, to bring order from chaos. He was the bringer of light, the vanquisher of darkness. And the Romans, like countless ancient cultures, absolutely revered the winter solstice. This wasn't just any day. It was the moment of cosmic struggle, the death of the old sun, and the miraculous, hopeful birth of the new. the very moment light begins its triumphant return over encroaching darkness. This profound, empire-wide festival, celebrating nature's own miracle, was called the Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, the birthday of the Unconquered Sun. And it was celebrated with lavish spectacles and fervent devotion on December 25th. For the vast majority of people in Rome, December 25th was already a deeply sacred, deeply ingrained day. They were already celebrating a divine birth, the glorious rebirth of the very sun itself, without whom life would cease. But the sun god's birthday was just the magnificent climax. The weeks leading up to it were an even wilder, even more anarchic festival that would shock you today: Saturnalia. For an entire week, social order was joyously inverted. Masters served their slaves. Gambling, usually forbidden, was legal and rampant. All work ceased. It was an essential pressure valve for Roman society, a cathartic burst of chaos before the return to order. And crucially, astonishingly, they exchanged gifts: small clay figurines, wax candles, tokens of goodwill, simple offerings, shared in a time of sanctioned chaos. Does any of this sound familiar? The echoes are undeniable, practically shouting through history: the gift-giving, the feasting, the suspension of work. This wasn't just a holiday, this was the vibrant, chaotic, deeply ingrained cultural air Romans breathed every single December. This was the colossal, pagan-saturated world the tiny, often persecuted Christian sect had to confront. They faced an impossible choice. How do you convert an empire so utterly devoted, so deeply attached to its most beloved ancient holidays? Everything, absolutely everything, changed in the 4th century. Emperor Constantine, after a pivotal vision, converted to Christianity. Suddenly, the persecuted faith moved from the catacombs and hidden chapels to the opulent imperial palace. Now backed by the full, unquestionable might of imperial power, the nascent Christian church made a strategic, a truly genius, and yes, a profoundly ruthless decision that would reshape history forever. The church didn't fight the pagan festivals. They would transform them. They would claim them. In 336 AD, Rome recorded its first Nativity of Christ, conspicuously, undeniably, on December 25th. The message delivered to the Roman people was a masterstroke of both theology and marketing. It was a whispered invitation. You are right to celebrate a birth of light on this day. But the birth you truly long for, the true light returning, is not of the sun, it is of the son. But the sophisticated takeover didn't stop at the secure borders of Rome. As Christianity expanded north, it pushed into the wild, mysterious lands of the fierce pagan tribes and their equally deep, equally powerful winter traditions. These northern peoples revered the evergreen tree, a magnificent, powerful symbol of life defiantly conquering death in the frozen, desolate world, a verdant promise of spring when all else was bare. The church didn't chop down the tree, it embraced it. They blessed it. It became the Christmas tree, its evergreen needles, now symbolizing everlasting life in Christ, its pagan origins carefully recontextualized. They encountered the monumental Yule log, meticulously chosen and ceremonially burned to ensure the sun's triumphant return, to banish evil spirits, a primal, powerful ritual of hope in the deepest, darkest night of winter. They found other sacred plants, the shimmering mistletoe, holy to the ancient Druids, a symbol of fertility and peace, the vibrant holly, with its sharp leaves and red berries, a pagan ward against malevolent, evil spirits. One by one, brick by brick, symbol by symbol, these potent pagan traditions were adopted, carefully stripped of their old gods, and given a powerful new Christian story. The rising faith didn't destroy the existing culture. No, it consumed it. It transformed it. It made it its own. So, what does this astonishing historical tapestry mean? Does this revelation make Christmas a fraud? Is it a fabrication? No. On the contrary, it reveals something far more profound, far more beautiful. The story of Christmas, in its truest, deepest sense, is the story of a universal, undeniable human longing. For light in the encroaching darkness, for hope in the dead of winter, for the promise of new life, spiritual and physical, when all seems lost. The Church, in its brilliance, didn't invent that longing. It found that longing already there, pulsating in the heart of every Roman citizen, every Germanic tribesman, every human being who has ever faced the chill of winter. And it offered that ancient, primal hope, a new name and a new, enduring narrative. Christmas, in this light, becomes a testament to adaptive faith and to our shared human journey. If this journey into the hidden past, if this unwrapping of Christmas history truly changed your perspective, if it opened your eyes, then please share this video. It's a story everyone deserves to know, a story that bridges millennia. And tell us in the comments, does knowing the origins of these traditions change how you feel about Christmas? We want to hear your insights. Don't let the ancient world keep its secrets from you. Subscribe to History, Bible and Mystery, and join our growing community of curious minds. We are dedicated to uncovering the truths hidden in plain sight, to bringing history alive in ways you never imagined. Next video, we're examining how the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, often framed as divine judgment in ancient scriptures, serves as a profound, enduring cautionary tale. Stay curious, stay questioning, because the past is not just history. It's a living story, and it is almost never what you think.